So hello Trevor, it is Saturday, October 1st, 2011, and rather than the usual backdrop of my kitchen seen from my couch, which I'm sure is getting a little old, I'm coming to you from the nice blank white wall of my bedroom. So I want to show you something. This is one of approximately 1 zillion journals that I own in varying shapes and sizes, in which I have written down all of the books that I have read since the summer of 2001. And on this page, summer of 2001, is this very adorable goal, 20 books in the top, which I have scratched out and replaced with 25 books because I just read too many books and I needed a better goal. Which brings us to the page that I am currently working on. A single page dedicated to the winter of 2010, starting in November, through now. A full year of book reading reduced to one page. And this paltry single page in my reading record book contains 2 audiobooks, one of which I'm only halfway through, one 100-page novella, and 3 novels that I haven't actually finished yet, I just wrote down early. However, that being said, it is currently 9:16 on Saturday night, and having been fully aware this entire week that it was my week to make a video, I have been unable to do so because of 3 things. 1, 2, 3. Often, if I have a dry spell when I haven't really been able to read for a while, I come back into it with a fury, reading book after book after book after book. And if I come across just the right book during this re-entry into reading period, I will consume it ravenously, almost unable to do anything else at all. It began about a month ago with Ender's Game, a book that I have been meaning to read for, about a decade. I was so taken with it even after hearing years and years of people recommending it to me, which should have led to disappointment, that I stayed up most of the night for 2 nights reading it even though I had to be at work at 6 in the morning. However, after this initial burst, I guess my brain sort of needed to rest for a while after its long year of barely reading anything. But last week I finally succumbed to popular recommendation and picked up these. The Hunger Games I read in a few days, pacing myself at the beginning at first, and then having to read the last 150 pages twice, because the first time around I was so excited that I could not read all the words, I just had to skip through and find out what happened. The second book I started last night at 10:30, read until 4 this morning when I could no longer keep my eyes open, and finished this afternoon. Usually I take a break between books in a series, allowing at least a day or sometimes reading an unrelated book in between, just to make sure that I can keep the plots separated in my head. But after finishing Catching Fire, I immediately started Mockingjay, and didn't stop until 85 pages in, when I finally reached the point where I was physically unable to read another page. You know, that moment when you've been reading for hours and hours and hours, and though you desperately need to find out what happens, you have a little bit of a headache, and your eyes keep wandering off of the page, and you're fidgeting, and can't sit still, and you just have to put the book down. And I'm finding this a little distressing because, while incredibly absorbing, The Hunger Games and its sequels are not happy books. In fact, they're very stressful and have a high degree of emotional tension. So even though I know I had to stop reading, I'm left with this vague sense of unease. A feeling which hopefully I'll be able to satisfy somewhat tomorrow, when my brain should again be ready to jump into this blitzkrieg. Trevor, I'll see you next week.